We have officially been in this house for just over 2 months now, which seems absolutely insane to say out loud. And in those 2 months, I have yet to paint any actual walls in our house. I've painted our garage, but that was it. No other paint has touched this house, which might actually be a record for me. I don't know if I've ever lasted this long in a house without painting. So it is time. It's high time. And we are tackling what is probably going to be the most impactful painting project I will take on, maybe in the entire time that we live here. And that is like our main living space. I'm calling it painting our living room, but what we're actually painting is the entry. We're painting the dining room. We're painting the kitchen. We're painting like the weird mudroom area off of the kitchen, and we're painting the living room. It's a lot, and it is desperately in need of a little bit of help. So I'm going to start by taking you on a little tour of what the before looked like. This is filmed vertically. I apologize for that. It was from my Instagram stories and I failed to take a horizontal video. So enjoy that little tour of everything that we're painting, and then I'll bring you along with me as I paint start to finish, including the minor mental breakdown that I had halfway through. Enjoy! Let me start by walking you through everything that's getting painted. So we've got our entry, we've got the dining room, we've got the living room, the kitchen nook area. I call this like the hallway. And then there's a little bit of wall in the kitchen. So all of this is getting painted the same color. For my house, I decided to go with Timeless by Clare Paint. I really love working with Clare because they have a limited selection of colors and they're all really good. So when you're choosing something like a white where there's so many options, I really like that they've limited it, narrowed down all the options in the world to just a few, and it makes it a lot easier for me to pick. This is a good white. It's gonna feel real clean.
No, I know, I already looks really good.
I went with Timeless specifically because it is a really warm and creamy white that feels fresh and clean, but it doesn't feel too stark or modern. When I tested some of the other colors up against the trim in our house, it really made the trim look yellow or made it really obvious that it's not a pure white. But this color made the trim look white. It just complemented everything really nicely, and it felt, well, timeless. I think the thing I was most excited about with painting was getting everything to be one color. As you can see, we had a few different accent walls around the house, the most noticeable one being here in the dining room. I actually like having some color on the walls in the dining room, and I probably will eventually change this from white, but it was very visually overstimulating because you can see everything from everywhere, and so quieting it down and having it all be one color is going to make a huge difference. This was a pretty major painting job, so I decided to break it up into 3 separate days. On the first day, I focused on painting just the dining room and the entry. It felt a lot more manageable that way and mentally made it a lot easier for me to get started on this project. On day 2, I tackled the kitchen nook, and this weird little hallway that we have right outside of our garage. The kitchen was the easiest one to tackle because these 2 slivers of wall that you see here are really the only walls that needed to be painted in the entire space. Right off the kitchen, we have a little eat-in area, and then we have this wide hallway that used to be part of our garage and now is part of the house. It's complicated. And as you're about to see, this is the part in the project where I hit the wall that I hit pretty much every single time I paint. I panicked, and then I spiraled, and then I considered quitting the entire thing and just giving up. Watch as I have a minor mental breakdown. Okay, I'm taking a minute, like confessional style. Hold on, we're crooked. We're gonna do a quick confessional here. Look at that hair, paint all over my hair. I'm currently feeling very nervous about the color. I'm not nervous about the color. The color is beautiful. I'm worried about how the color plays with the floor and all the other like still very 70s elements in my house. Like this taupe tan color is not a color I want or would ever choose, but it works great with the floors. And I'm starting to feel nervous about how this white is gonna make the floors stand out even more. And I don't know yet if this is just like my eyes need to adjust or if this is actually gonna be a problem. We can't change these floors anytime soon. So I'm starting to question, like, should I have painted a color that works with these? Like, should I have chosen a color? I'm starting to question if I should have chosen a color based on the floor and then like repainted white in a few years when we do the walls. That sounds like such a pain. But am I gonna hate this? This often happens in the middle of painting. That is what I'm reminding myself. Sometimes I question things and get nervous. So we're gonna forge ahead. We're gonna keep going. I was really pleased in the dining room this morning. It's just like now it's starting to get more and I'm starting to get nervous. So I think it's probably gonna be fine. Just needed to confess that I'm nervous. Come do the second coat with me. Thankfully, by this point, I've done this enough to know that I probably was going to feel better in the morning. Also, it always helps to get a second coat on the walls. So I forged ahead, finished the section I was working on, and decided to start fresh the next day. On day 3, I tackled the largest area and also the part I was most excited about, the living room. This part of our house is dark thanks to a super shaded backyard and a patio that has a covering that's really, really low to the ground. So I was really hopeful that adding some white paint in here was really going to brighten things up and make it feel better. One of my favorite things about having white paint in a space is that it really feels different in every space that you put it in. That can be true of pretty much any paint color, but I feel like white really shows this more than others. In our living room, this color really shines and it feels so much better than that taupe did. You might notice that as I paint, I don't use any drop cloths and I don't use any painter's tape. This comes after years of practice, a very steady hand, and maybe a little bit of misplaced confidence. I do always put a small drop cloth under my actual paint tray and the paint can, or I place it into a cardboard box. But other than that, I find that painter's tape and using the drop cloths ends up creating more chaos for me than just skipping them. It's always when I have those things happening that I tend to get a little bit overconfident and I create more mess than I would if I just did it this way. So I've learned that a really good quality paintbrush, a lot of patience, and a good audiobook are really all I need to make nice, clean paint lines without all that extra prep work. And with that, you've followed me on the journey of painting. Why don't we take a look at the finished product? Walking in, you've got the dining room. This table is actually getting replaced today, so it won't be here much longer. But man, I think the color really shines in this space. You can see how warm it is. It's definitely more of an off-white, but it is so warm and welcoming. And I really, really like how it plays in here. So I feel like getting this room painted has really got me thinking about it. This is probably the only room that I can guarantee you will not stay white. I definitely picture something darker, some trim on the walls, maybe some wallpaper. I haven't decided yet. I know for now I definitely need to get some art up on the walls to warm it up. So this room is going to be changing soon. Also, we've got to replace a light switch. And then as you can see, we're still working on replacing all of the switch covers, but I did do these super simple outlet covers that fit right over the old almond outlet plates. And so I didn't have to replace the outlets. I just threw these on and they were super easy. So you can see over here, they were these almond ones before. My husband's gonna replace this with a smart outlet, so I haven't done that yet. So there's the dining room. And then right on the other side of the dining room, you've got the entry. Again, I do think the color really shines here. It's just so warm and welcoming. There's the front door. And then you've got a little gallery wall right here. Like this view, I love it. Okay, let's flip around and see the living room. This is the darkest room in our house. I usually have to have the overhead lights on, which is not my favorite thing, but it is so much noticeably brighter in here. We actually keep the overhead lights at a much dimmer setting than we were able to before, so that is really, really great. The color really did make a huge difference in here. So this room still needs a lot of work, but it feels so much cozier in here now. We're definitely heading in the right direction. The vision, hopefully in the next few months or so, is on this whole wall to do bookcases. We'll get rid of the mirror, which I love the mirror, but I want to do a whole wall of bookcases there. Add a lot of storage, add some visual interest, and kind of anchor the room a little bit. Fireplace needs a makeover, but it is a lot less offensive now than it was before. I'm really pleased. So things are looking good. And finally, we've got the kitchen and dining look. I think that this wall right here is maybe my favorite part. This used to be the same, or it is, I guess, the same tile that's on the floor. And it was quite a visual feast to look at. It was very, very overstimulating and just a lot happening in this line of sight. And painting it the same color as the walls really, really quieted it down. It's looking so much better now. I'm just really pleased. I'm really pleased with how it all turned out. So what's next? I'm actually thinking, as you can see, we have tile baseboards going all the way around. And after seeing what a difference it made to paint this, I'm kind of thinking I might paint these baseboards white. We're gonna leave the floor alone. I don't have any intention of painting it because I do not want to maintain a painted floor. But these baseboards, I'm kind of thinking maybe it would work to paint them white and let them blend in a little. Tell me what you think in the comments. And there you have it. It's all painted. It feels so good to have it done. And it feels like such a nice blank slate that is really ready for me to start having a little fun with it. I feel like I can breathe in here a little bit now that everything is all one color and it's a nice calm color. So I'm really excited to get started on what's next. I haven't decided yet. We've got Christmas coming up, so I do think I'm gonna kind of just be decorating for now. But it's definitely a situation of so many projects up at the forefront of my mind that I can't decide where I'm gonna start. So I guess you're gonna have to stay tuned to find out. I'll see you next time.